You're in the US. A police officer walks up to you.
You think it's routine. Nothing serious. You hand over your passport. You think you're fine.
Then the officer says, "You're being detained."
And in that moment, most people make the wrong move. Not because they're dangerous. Not because they did anything wrong. Because they didn't understand what was just said.
Stop. Right there. If you heard those words right now, would you know what to do, stay, or walk away?
That one misunderstanding, those first 5 seconds, can turn a 2-minute check into something that follows you for years.
Most people think that talking more helps. It doesn't.
By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what each phrase means, what it expects from you, and what to say in return.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Easy English with PJ. I'm PJ.
I'm Logan.
This episode is more serious than our last one, but the serious episodes are exactly the ones you can't afford to skip.
Everything we cover today is for English learning purposes only. We are not giving legal advice. Laws and situations vary, and if you ever face a real legal situation, please consult a qualified attorney. Our goal is simple. You hear a phrase. You understand it. You respond clearly.
Let's get into it.
Here's a situation almost nobody thinks will happen to them. You're walking home late at night. Maybe you just finished a long shift. Maybe you came back from dinner with friends. A police officer approaches and says something you've never had directed at you before.
You're being detained.
Most people freeze. And that's exactly where everything starts to go wrong. Some try to walk away. Some start arguing. Both make it worse.
Here's what that phrase actually means, and this is the part most people get wrong. In most situations, "you're being detained" means the officer is checking something out. You're not free to leave, but you're also not under arrest. You're somewhere in between. Exact rules can vary depending on the situation and the state, but generally, this phrase means you are expected to stay.
One word. That's all it takes. One word you don't understand, and the whole situation changes.
The officer might follow it immediately with, "You're not under arrest."
Which means, I stopped you, but this is not an arrest. You'll also hear it as, you're not being arrested. No difference. Those phrases tell you exactly where you stand.
So there are 3 phrases that describe your status in any police encounter.
You're being detained. That's the middle ground.
You're not under arrest. That's clarification. The officer is telling you this is still a check, not a charge.
And then, if things change, you are under arrest. At that point, the situation becomes much more serious.
This is the exact distinction most people get wrong. Detained and arrested sound similar. They are not the same. One means wait. The other means the encounter has escalated significantly.
And if you misunderstand this, everything that follows becomes harder. Most people don't realize they made that mistake until it's already too late.
Quick test. You're being detained. Do you stay or do you walk away?
If your first instinct was to walk away, that is exactly how a 2-minute check becomes something much bigger. In most situations, this phrase means you are expected to stay.
Before you keep watching, drop a comment. Did you think detained and arrested meant the same thing? Write same or different. Let's see how many people are learning this for the first time right now.
Now here is the part almost nobody prepares for. What happens physically when an arrest occurs? This is where things change very fast.
This part catches people off guard every time, not because they're trying to cause trouble, but because nobody ever told them what these commands actually mean.
Turn around slowly. That means turn your body slowly and smoothly, with no fast movements.
Place your hands behind your back. Both hands go behind you. You'll also hear it as put your hands behind your back. Same meaning.
Interlace your fingers. This is where people hesitate. It means weave your fingers together, like you're locking your own hands.
Quick pause. If this already feels intense, that's the point. In real life, these commands come fast. There's no time to translate.
Relax your arms. Don't tense up. Stay loose.
And here's a critical one. Don't resist. This means don't pull away, don't tighten your arms, don't fight back.
If that has already started, you'll hear stop resisting or stop fighting. Not complying with these commands doesn't help. It tends to make the situation significantly worse and can lead to additional charges.
If you're already thinking, I had no idea these phrases carried this much weight, that's exactly why this episode exists. Because the next set is one most people have heard but still don't fully understand. Not knowing them is why people walk into trouble they never saw coming.
In many situations, officers will read you your Miranda rights after an arrest. You've probably heard about these in movies. Here's what they actually sound like in real life.
You have the right to remain silent. This means you are not required to answer questions.
Anything you say may be used against you. Whatever you say can become evidence in court.
You have the right to an attorney. You can have a lawyer present before and during any questioning.
After those 3 statements, the officer will ask, "Do you understand your rights?" A simple yes or no is sufficient.
And then comes one of the most important phrases in this whole episode. You're not free to leave. This generally means you are expected to stay. You'll also hear it as you cannot leave or you need to stay here. All 3 carry the same meaning.
Quick check. You're not free to leave. Do you stay or do you go?
If you hesitated even for a second, that is exactly where things can escalate fast. In most situations, this phrase means you are expected to remain where you are.
The opposite phrase is you are free to go, sometimes said as you can go now. The check is over. You can walk away.
Now let's talk about commands and warnings. This is where the sequence matters because most people don't realize there is a sequence until they've already made things worse.
This is a lawful order. This means what the officer just said is an official legal command. It generally means compliance is expected. You'll also hear this is a legal order. Same meaning.
Failure to comply will result in arrest. This means not following the instruction can lead to arrest. You'll sometimes hear it more directly as, if you don't comply, I will arrest you.
But there's often a warning phase before it reaches that point.
I'm giving you a warning. You're not in trouble yet. The officer is being fair with you.
This is your final warning. The next step is consequences. You'll also hear just last warning. When you hear that, it's important to stop whatever you're doing.
I need you to comply now. Or comply right now. This means follow the instruction immediately.
Here's where a lot of people make a critical mistake. They want to argue right there in the street. They think if they explain enough, the officer will understand. That instinct is completely natural. Most people feel exactly that way. But it tends to make things worse, not better.
Don't argue right now. Or stop arguing. There is a process. Arguing in the street is not part of it.
We'll sort this out later. Or we'll figure this out later. This means the conversation can happen somewhere else. The officer is not refusing to listen.
A few more movement commands you'll hear in these situations.
Walk with me. Or come with me. Move alongside the officer.
Watch your step. Or watch where you're going. Be careful where you're walking.
Have a seat. Or sit down. Sit.
Stand up slowly. Or get up slowly. Rise carefully with no sudden movements.
Follow my instructions. Or do what I tell you. Do exactly what the officer says.
You can make a call later, or you'll get your phone call. Not right now, but you will get one.
We're going to the station. Or we're taking you to the station. You're being taken to the police station.
Here's how this plays out in real life. Someone hears you're being detained and thinks it's nothing. They start walking away. 2 minutes later, it's not a simple conversation anymore. Same situation, completely different outcome, just because of one phrase.
Let's do a quick speed round before we move on.
You're being detained. Stay or go.
In most situations, you are expected to stay.
You're not free to leave. Stay or go.
Generally, stay.
You are under arrest. What happens next?
At that point, the situation becomes much more serious.
If you can answer those without hesitating, you're already ahead of most people watching this right now. And if this is already changing the way you think about English in real situations, you'll want to stick around for what comes next.
Because the next section is the one most people skip, and it's exactly why they get into trouble even when they did absolutely nothing wrong.
New situation. And this one happens far more often than people expect.
You're walking by when a car accident happens right in front of you. Police arrive. An officer looks at you and says, "Tell me what happened."
You're not the suspect, you're the witness, and most people think that's the easy part.
It's not. And here's why.
Almost nobody realizes this going in. People have gotten into serious trouble from one wrong sentence. Not because they lied, but because they guessed and they got it wrong. And once something is on record, you don't get to take it back.
What you say goes on record. So here's a question to hold on to right now. If you're not sure about something, do you guess? Or do you say, "I'm not sure"? That one decision changes everything about what follows.
Tell me what happened. This means describe what you saw. You'll also hear it as explain what happened. The officer will often add, start from the beginning, or start from the very beginning. That means go back to the very first thing you saw and tell it in order.
As you talk, the officer will guide you forward. What happened next? Keep going in order. Or just then what? Same meaning.
Then they get specific. When did this happen? Or what time did this happen? Give the time or date as best you can.
Where did this occur? Or where did this take place? Give the location clearly.
How long ago was this? Give your best estimate. These questions are building a timeline, and every answer you give adds a piece to it. That timeline matters.
Quick check. An officer asks, "When did this happen?" And you're not totally sure of the exact time. Do you guess? Or do you say you're not sure?
If your instinct was to guess, that is exactly what causes problems you often won't realize until much later.
Don't guess. Only say what you actually know for certain. You'll also hear the officer say, "Only tell me what you know." Filling in the gaps doesn't help the investigation. It creates problems that are very hard to fix later.
Most people guess because they feel like they're supposed to know. That feeling is real. Almost everyone has it, but acting on it is where things go wrong.
Then come questions about other people. These come fast, and they feel very specific.
Who else was involved? Or who else was there? Name any other people you saw.
Did you see anyone else? Yes or no? If yes, the officer will follow up. Can you describe them? Or describe the person. Give as much detail as you remember.
What were they wearing? Describe the clothes you saw.
Which direction did they go? Or where did they go? Point or say left, right, north, south. Whatever is clearest.
They'll also ask about physical appearance. And here's what most people miss. Almost nobody prepares for how specific these questions get until they're actually in it.
How tall were they? Or what was their height? Give your best estimate.
Any distinguishing features, that means scars, tattoos, unusual clothing, anything that stands out. You'll also hear it as anything unusual about them.
Most people answer this one too vaguely. Think about it. If you noticed something and said nothing because you thought it was too small to matter, that one detail might have changed the entire case.
Quick check. An officer asks, any distinguishing features? Do you stay quiet because you're not totally certain, or do you share what you remember?
You share what you remember. Every detail matters, even the ones that feel small.
And there's one phrase most people don't expect. The officer may show you a photo and ask, do you recognize this person? Or do you know this person? Look carefully. Only say yes if you are genuinely sure. Saying yes when you're uncertain can have serious consequences for someone who had nothing to do with it.
Being honest about what you don't know is just as important as what you do know. Most people feel pressure to give a definite answer. Don't. Say what's true.
Now here's a moment in questioning that most people aren't ready for. The officer wants to make sure your account is accurate.
Is this accurate? Or is this correct? This means, is what I just repeated back to you right?
Just to be clear, means the officer is checking understanding before moving on.
Let me clarify, or let me make this clear. The officer is going to explain something again, so there's no confusion.
Say that again, or repeat that. They need to hear it once more.
I need exact details. Don't be vague. Be specific. You'll also hear it as, I need specific information.
Speak slowly, or slow down when you talk. Talk at a pace they can follow while writing. When people are nervous, they speed up without noticing. Try not to.
I'm taking notes. Or, I'm writing this down. The officer is documenting what you say.
This is being recorded. Or, we're recording this. When you hear that, stay calm and be as accurate as possible. Everything you say is now part of the official record.
Take your time, or there's no rush. Think before you speak. Slowing down is what makes a good witness.
Most people rush because they're nervous, and that's exactly when they say something they didn't mean to, something they can't take back. If this is already making you think differently about how much language matters in these moments, the next part is where it all comes together.
As the questioning wraps up, you'll hear these phrases.
Is that everything? Or is there anything else? Did you tell them everything you know? Take a moment before you answer.
Are you sure? Or just sure? The officer wants confirmation.
Can you confirm that? Or is that right? Make sure what you said is accurate.
Stick to the facts. Or just the facts. Only say what actually happened. No opinions, no assumptions, no guesses.
Don't leave anything out. Or, tell me everything. Share even the small details that feel unimportant. Those are often the ones that matter most.
If you've been cooperative and honest, you'll often hear, I appreciate your honesty. Or, thank you for being honest.
This will go in the report. Or, I'll put this in my report. What you said is now part of the official document.
Provide a statement. Or give us a statement. This means give your account in a formal, organized way.
And here's something important for witnesses to know. You can stop at any time. Or, you can stop whenever you want. In many situations, you have the right to end the questioning.
That's sufficient for now. Or that's enough for now. The officer has what they need.
We may follow up later. Or we might call you later. They might contact you again. That's normal and expected.
You now know the phrases. But knowing them on a screen is one thing. Hearing them in real life, under pressure, with your heart racing, is a completely different experience. So let's put it all together and see what it actually looks like.
Let's go back to where we started. You're walking home late at night. There was a robbery nearby. An officer stops you. This time, you know the phrases.
The officer says, "You're being detained." You know what that means. You stay. You don't argue. You don't walk away. You're calm because you understand what is happening.
Turn around slowly. You do it slowly, smoothly. Place your hands behind your back. You do that too. Don't resist. You stay loose. You relax your arms.
You're not under arrest. I'm giving you a warning. You understand. This is a check. You're in between, and you know what that means.
Follow my instructions. The officer asks a few questions. You cooperate. A few minutes later, you are free to go.
5 minutes. It's over. You walk away. Not because the situation was easy, because you understood every single word.
Now here's what happens when someone doesn't. The officer says, "You're being detained." They don't know what detained means. They start walking away.
This is a lawful order. You're not free to leave. They still don't understand. They keep moving.
And this is the moment everything shifts.
This is your final warning. I need you to comply now.
What started as a routine check is now escalating, not because that person did anything wrong, because they didn't understand the situation. Language. That was the only thing standing between a calm moment and a serious one.
Second scenario. You witness a car accident. The officer walks over and says, "Tell me what happened. Start from the beginning. You describe what you saw in order."
This is being recorded. I'm taking notes. You're careful and accurate. What happened next? You answer. When did this happen? You answer.
Can you describe them? You describe the driver with as much detail as you remember. Then, are you sure?
And because you remembered take your time and don't guess, you slow down. You think. You correct one detail. That one correction might actually matter.
Is that everything? You take a breath. You think. You say yes. That's sufficient for now. We may follow up later.
You understood every phrase. You knew the questioning was ending. You knew they might call again. And you walked away having given a clear, accurate, helpful statement.
You walked into that situation in a country with a different legal system, and you handled it. Because you understood the language.
Whether you're protecting yourself in a difficult moment or helping an investigation, it always comes back to the same thing. Understanding the language is what gives you clarity when everything else feels uncertain.
PJ, what's the one thing you want people to take away from today?
Don't panic when you hear these phrases. Take a breath. Remember what they mean. When you understand the language, you can stay calm. Communicate clearly, and protect yourself in a way that simply isn't possible without it. That is not a small thing. In those moments, it's everything.
And if this episode is already changing how you think about English in real life, the next one is going to hit even harder. We're covering traffic stops next, and that's where most people fall apart, even when they did absolutely nothing wrong. That's the episode most people sleep on, and it's exactly why they stay stuck.
Even confident English speakers fall apart in that situation, because it's not about fluency, it's about knowing the right phrases at the right moment.
Remember, you don't need perfect English in these situations. If you don't understand something, you can calmly say, "I don't understand. Please explain." Or, "Can you repeat that slowly?" Officers would rather be understood clearly than deal with a miscommunication.
And knowing your rights is not the same as being difficult. You can politely say, I'd like to speak to an attorney. That's calm, that's clear. And in most situations, that is your right.
Before we finish, our mantra for today. Everyone, say it with us.
I know my rights. I stay calm. I speak clearly.
One more time. Say it like you mean it.
I know my rights. I stay calm. I speak clearly.
In real life, there are no subtitles. You either understand or things go wrong.
Every phrase you learn today gives you more control when it actually matters.
And if you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people who will ever be in that situation.
Next episode, traffic stops. That's where most people panic, even when they did nothing wrong. If you thought today was intense, that one goes even deeper. You don't want to miss it.
Subscribe, because this is the kind of English you don't realize you need until you do. Thanks for watching Easy English with PJ. Keep learning, stay informed, and stay safe.
Bye.